Professor Robert Ross was our keynote speaker in the Nobel Institute this morning. And to those of you who were unable to attend the morning session, I will just repeat that Ross is professor at Boston College and associate at John Fairbanks Center for Chinese Studies at Harvard University. He is one of the foremost American specialists on Chinese foreign and security policy, and has also links to Norway through his previous position as an adjunct professor at the Institute for Defense Studies. You will find an extensive CV in our program. Please, Professor, I think I will leave the floor and the panel to you immediately. Give him a big applause.
Thank you, and thank you to the organizers. This is a great panel, an all-star panel. And if you notice, we have multinational representation. We have someone from France, someone from the United States, someone who was born and raised in China, and we have someone from Russia. So when we talk about the future of NATO and the rise of China, this is a great panel. Li Xing was raised in China and now teaches in Denmark at one of Denmark's major universities, Aalborg University. And if you read his CV, you can see he's written in all aspects of the rise of China and China in the globe, and he's active both in Western journals on China and inside China as well. And that's a unique skill to have a voice in both countries simultaneously. I could say most Chinese often have to choose, so it's difficult to do both, so it's a real strength. Elizabeth has a long history in living in China, going back to the 1990s. She has worked with the American Department of Defense Institute in Hawaii. Those of you who know that institution will know it's the major intellectual center for the United States military to engage with East Asia, or all of Asia. And so the number of visitors who come from Asia into that institution every year are in the hundreds. And they're also a major research institution, so no one would understand the nexus between the U.S. security establishment and East Asia better than herself. She's now at the Colorado School of Mines, where she takes advantage of her background in Chinese energy security and other aspects of the rise of China. Igor Denisov is from Moscow, the Soviet Union, and is, sorry, Russia. You can tell how old I am. And I will tell you that I used to think I was unique in that, but then over time I see people my own age make the same mistake. So I can claim age as an excuse on that one. But he's at the Center for East Asian Shanghai Cooperation, which is again an institution that's deeply involved in understanding China, the impact of China's expansion into markets around the world, including into Russia, into Europe, into Central Asia. He has worked with the Russian Foreign Ministry, he has traveled to China, so if there's anyone who would understand a Russian perspective on the rise of China, its implications for Europe, Central Asia, Russia, it would be Igor. And last, but not at all least, and forgive my French, but it would be Matthew Ducatal, I don't know, thank you for your tolerance of my French, who has the unique position of being the initial director of the Asia program at the, at the Institut Montaigne, which is the first major center at this institute is on East Asia and on China, which reflects just how important the rise of China is for Europe. Matthew has, again, a long experience in Asia. He was appointed the first representative of CIPRI in Beijing. So again, he understands security issues, arms sales, the Chinese situation, and so he brings to the French perspective and to our meeting a very strong background in China, and he wears two hats, if you will, a security hat and a knowledge of China studies as well, a unique perspective. I've given the four introductions in the order they're going to speak. I'm not going to come up again until they're done speaking, so they can walk themselves up and in the order I've given them, and then we'll come to the Q&A afterwards. I will not try to interrupt them when their time is up, but they have 10 minutes, I'm told. Is that right? And so I'll trust that there will be self-restraint on the part of all our participants. Thank you.